to look to the sun, to see where it was that I've come from. I have a feeling that there must be a time I'll get a chance to go home. 'Cause I'm so tired of being here alone. But I'm just a traveler in time, trying so hard to pay for my crime.
Mattress. First part. Herrings. Putting it all into melodies, the vibrations, emotions, rhythms, thus tuning into the biospheric local morphogenetic fields of lake constants, and then via memory association with other beautiful landscapes of the planet. Not be so proud, not planet but Europe. And above all, Czech woods, mountains, Bohemian forest, lakes and mountains, giant mountains in the north of Bohemia. Then rivers and lakes and mountains of the Alps here around Lake Constance, Austria and Switzerland. Disentis, Silvaplana, St. Moritz, Squall, Julia Pass, skiing areas around Alberg. Then going on to the south, Italy, Greece, and my beloved Atlantis, Crete, Lassity Plateau, Dicte, and the south rugged coast. And seeing the muses that have accompanied me. And all the animals and all the plants that have touched me with their souls and bodies on various biological farms I was living and working on. All the nice people there and all those real adventures, girls and ladies of the 70s, 80s, 90s and 2010s that were still on the great quest of adventure with me. Oh, la, 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 There is no plan, no, how to merge it all into one field that would then express itself in some novel or piece of work, piece of art, scientific theory, lifestyle. it must be experimented upon. We've improved our technology, né? We have a new galactic vehicle, new guitar from a friend who suddenly came about 3 days ago and asked me in the community kitchen here, do you need my guitar again? Because about half a year ago I asked him to lend me his guitar. Because, you know, I wanted to change the vehicle. Because I have like 5 guitars, but they have been distributed all around Europe during my travels, and I can't now get hold of them because of this COVID stupidity regulations. I was not free to travel in the last 2 years, so my guitar is on the south coast of Crete, 2 guitars are in Prague, so I used one is probably in the Bohemian forest, somewhere in the cottage of a hermit. So I used the first guitar, which I keep only as a kind of, I like it very much. The lectures you have heard, the fundamental lecture of the introduction into Klage's phenomenology, biocentric phenomenology, was spoken on the wings of that guitar, of that old one, which is only 4 strings, but it has a certain cult meaning for me because it was the guitar I was taking with me, I took with me on the greatest quest of my life, as I went with a beautiful girl for 2 years in a travel home around Europe, and embodied all those visions I have had after like 15 years of reading Klages, and mainly about his love for Crete, for his admiration to the Minoan culture, and his visions and words about the cosmogonic eros, what it means to live permanently, if possible, under the wings of erotic inspiration, planetary, local, and cosmic. As you move through the landscape of one beautiful lake to the other, one beautiful mountain from one beautiful mountain to the other, one beautiful coast to the other coast, one meadow in a deep forest to another meadow in a deep forest, and there is endless silence, disturbed only by the strings of your guitar, the laughing of the beautiful muse, which is blood and flesh, and young and fresh, blood and sweat, and just a few tears and a lot of laughing. And you have a travel home which takes you on and on, so that you don't have any worry about where you are going to stop, because the journey is flowing. The morphogenetic fields, the shapes of the trees, the shapes of the lakes, the shapes of the stones. Like if you look at those beautiful lakes, I mean, you must go there if you want to understand, if you want to feel the magic of cosmogonic eras, like the lake Silvaplana, St. Moritz. When Nietzsche himself was intoxicated and drunken as I was by those golden trees, what are they called? The sprout trees. They do not that shed their needles during the winter. But still, some of them keep it, and then they are so golden, and there is this blue sky and snow, and the lake is blue. And if you can ski there, and if you can live somewhere nearby in a small cottage, with your little muse, and you have those mysterious books with you, and you discover for the first time. Well, I remember I confused a little bit. I had several of these muses accompany me, and one of the earliest was where I was a Buddhist. I had these strange books with titles "Thou art that," "Tatvam Ase." I was reading in the small, cozy cottages at the fireplace after we've been skiing all day on the high slopes of some French or Swiss skiing resorts. Whoa! And I was naturally not objecting to the great realization that thou art that. I said, naturally, I am that all. I am this beautiful skiing day, and the smell of the wood saturated by the sun as we sat on the terrace and had our breakfasts. And as we lie down on the couch and enjoy this kind of cat-like afternoon with absolute silence. I mean, absolute silence was it not, because there were drops of cold water falling from icicles from the roof of our cottage shop, and our little dog, the Cocker Spaniel, was at a perfect color. This is what is the mystery of shapes and forms that create artworks that you simply, you passively look at it and say, this is perfect. The shape of the dog. Cocker Spaniel, he is the most human dog you can imagine. With his round eyes, with his clever face. She was also a lady, so I had two ladies with me on my philosophical intoxication trip. One of them. And the wheel in my girlfriend's car, which was a Alfa Romeo Cabrio Spider, was of the same color as the fur of the dog, and as the color of the leather skirt of my girlfriend. Well, ladies and gentlemen, for about philosophers and romantics, poet, this is so much. Then even the colors of the trees and the colors of your cottage match, and the icicles are dropping and the sun is shining, and there's nobody far and wide, and this is this morphogenetic field of Swiss valleys, where nothing has changed for centuries. No war, no loud words, no supermarket noises. No autobahn, nothing like that. And it all penetrates your soul and fills you with this kind of mystic, realization, thou art that. And if you are still a young student, intoxicated by the realization that you have been visiting courses by the great masters, Buddhist metaphysics and so on at the university, and you were reading like Samuel Beckett, and you were this is time of postmodern literature theory, and you are writing a paper on the comparison of ego deconstruction in modern absurd literature, like in Samuel Beckett, and then in Buddhist Theravada meditation, and this all merges together now. I mean, thou art it. And this was the period of my life where one after another such initiation compositions of real life were going through me, were drawing me near, were engulfing me. One after the another, such 3 or 4 beautiful girls came into my life, and I took them on this great endless quest. Like you think about the archetype for this, then you have to find Jason and Medea, Argonauts, always traveling far, far, far to a distant country, falling in love, and being on the brink of great metaphysical discovery, and in a kind of biographical leap in your life into another lifestyle. And not being forced to somehow fight for it, to defend it, and to pay for it, because fortunately enough, 3 of these girls were somehow gifted with skills that provided them enough money, and a home and cars and such like. They were kind of beautiful flowers of the upper middle class establishment, in the very similar sense that, like Jim Morrison, the rock singer of the band, was the son of such a family, and he had beautiful childhood, and he had good education, and then the cultural situation around him condensed to this burning kind of shining star of an extreme adventure life, full of visions and deep thoughts, and poetry, and until it burned him to ashes. with this overflowing cup. The Dionysic cup was overflowing and until it exploded. We have similar archetypes in the life of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde, and we have similar archetype in the novels of Steppenwolf and Gasperlunspiel of the names are falling out if I'm just in ecstasy. The names are not important. A German writer who lived also not far away from here at the Lake Constance, and he had this idea that the best moment for adventure is when you are leaving a kind of secure middle class origins and you burst into this adventure, because you still have your good basis. You have your education and the healthcare and your mother and those long years when you have been taken care of by your loving mother, and everything was fine. And then somehow Hermann Hesse is the name of the writer, the German writer, and suddenly the historical situation, cultural situation makes a twist and puts you on a brink of a new epoch, and you have the ability, you have the power, physical and emotional and cognitive, to take part in it, but it does not destroy you immediately, because you still live on those accumulated years where there was peace, there was regular lifestyle, and everybody loved you. High school, for I'm very important to have a nice experience on your high school between like 15 and 13, 14 and 18, 19 years of age. That must be a paradise. Absolutely without no trouble, where only you open every day a book of new wonders. Actually, your early age, like from 1 to 10, must be also like that, in even more fairy tale style now, where you have no idea about that there are troubles, because you are exceptionally healthy and lifestyle surroundings are peaceful and not too rich because it would bring some decadence, but rich enough, so that people get relaxed, they do not project their troubles into you. That is why I am so worried about the war situations and revolutions and social upheavals and changing all the time the ideology and bringing some crazy notions about gender and political correctness and all the hysteria of people who did not have such a childhood, and they somehow cluster together and make politics, and project their troubles. It's all a psychiatric clinic, that is open, and they call it governments. Because if there is no basis, then there will be no natural transformation. If there's no healthy basis for the bodily functions and opening of the soul of a young man or a girl or boy, it must first absorb all possibilities of motion, that is, playing endless years of lakes and shores of the lakes and sand and building sand castles, and swimming and laughing and sliding, what do you call it? There's a slide now at the lake and you are small and you go up the stairs and you rise above the noise of the beach, and then you are so high because you are so small, so it seems to you like it was like 50 meters above the humming voices of the beach, and then there's a little pump on the top. You pump water because this I don't know if I describe it properly. I don't know the word now exactly in English, but it is a kind of tube. You are going to run on this tube. It is open. It is straight forward and shall throw you with enormous speed into the lake, like from about 1 meter high above the lake. You will be shot like a projectile, and so that you can slide for such a long time downwards, there must be water which makes it possible for you to slide. So you pump with the hand pump, you pump the water, and when the water flows down, you look at it as it circles in so spirals, and then you throw yourself in with your head forward because you want to see, and then you shoot like, and you hit the water, like a dolphin, and you dive deep, and it goes on and on. You get absolutely intoxicated. You come back like a drunken fanatic of water, motion, air, and dolphin-like experience, and you like a somnambulated, like a somnambule. You rise those stairs up, but at the same time, at the back of your soul, you feel your mother is down there, and she has a big aluminum box with very sweet and good-looking cakes now that she's made in the cottage you live in at the lake, and you stay there for 3 months, like in the summer. I mean, if you look at the novels of, at the short stories and novels of Ray Bradbury, who is considered an heir of Edgar Allan Poe as far as the artistry of language is concerned, then you must see he is describing in an extreme detail such endless afternoons on a porch of some middle-class house in the American South, or is it South, I don't know, and where such perceptions of the color of your tennis shoes, the taste of your lemonade, and the dress of your mother, and whatever, the smell of the wind, the color of the glass, and the door of the house you live in. And so this is so important for Ray Bradbury, because I think he was in his young days also totally saturated and intoxicated by the perception of form and color and motion in peaceful surroundings. And this for children is the basis of creativity, of the learning, relaxing, and letting the soul to wander away and it is in congruence with our biocentric phenomenology of the soul, that the soul is a field that stretches far, far away from the physical body and is being drawn passively to other informational fields, be it soul, fields of living organisms like dogs that have this beautiful brown color and this long hair and these ears of a cocker spaniels and these round human eyes, and they look at you and you are lost because you feel immediately you want to be one with them. You can touch them and you just forever. And this applies, the same applied then later for me for brown horses. Yeah? I had a friend who had a 900 kilo. No? Hachi was his name. Westerwälder, cold blood horse. And he was enormous. You know? Wow. And he was brown. And he has the same color as the Cocker Spaniel. And he had long blonde hair. And he had an enormous head. Like his head was greater than my body from the waist up. I would think it was also smaller. And he looked so wise. And his eyes were so great and so sphere-like shaped, and you can see the world mirroring in his eyes. And you could lean on him. You can sit on him and feel this enormous power. And I had a friend also, Nico, who was also 900 kilo. I have somehow, my friends are rather big here, I don't think. He was a bull, no? In a herd of 80 cows I was taking care of. Not only I was just, helping the farmer. But Nico was my friend. Because the cows, in the morning, I was working on several cow farms, like old style German, Swiss, in the mountains, no? Silence, snowy peaks, nobody there, only there. Cows are mumping, cows are archetypes of motherly power. They have 5 stomachs, so there is enough time to chew on the grass. And their soul is so overpowered by the chewing capacity of their bodies that they are permanently having siesta. Let us say, if you imagine like a good Sunday dinner or lunch, after which you lie on the veranda and simply metabolize, and everything is peaceful and fine, then you are in the cow consciousness. I mean, we don't call it consciousness, we call it then soul. And that's why they are all the time looking so peaceful and wise and friendly. As even Nietzsche has pointed out that in some monasteries during the long, peaceful hundreds of years of Middle Ages, the monks were singing their celebration of Jesus and painting and writing old books and rewriting them and copying them and drinking their wine, working in the garden and eating well, and that this kind of peaceful Christianity, brotherly love, was actually an expression of good digestion for years. Well, it's not so bad. If you are a type like that, nah? If you have a choice between becoming hysterical in some warring armies of Protestant against Catholic or something like it was later, but some fanatics, nah? Then why not to go to a monastery and eat well and plant herbs and sing hallelujah to Jesus and sleep well. It is a great achievement for a soul that otherwise would be torn between so many opposing instincts. I'm going far away. You see, this is the dynamic, associative journey of imagery. So the cows, and Nika and my brown friends, starting with the Cocker Spaniel, and then the horse, Hachi, and then Nika, the bull with his enormous head and his skin, which is different to a horse skin because he has a loose part of skin. You can really shake him. You can really, stretch him. And his skin also, his hair is curled, the fur on the head, and his eyes are different from horse's eyes. There is this, there's this enormous centuries and thousands of bulls behind him, this titanic power which is totally unconscious. These are walking mountains. These are gathering storms. And the lightning is hidden yet. Wow, wow. And when a small boy comes to such a bull with a friendly hand, I was not already so small, I was already older, and I was already a physiotherapist, but nevertheless I had only my 75 kilos, which was 10 times, 12, 13 times less than the bull. But I had made him a massage, or really, with all power. I was like, I was hitting him with full force, and he liked that now, because you see, he got a feeling that I'm somebody special. Because why? In the morning, high up in the mountains, cold, fresh air. You live on this farm, and this is, woods all around, deep forests, black forest, Germany, okay. You wake up 6:30 in January, like I say. You wake up, you wash your face with cold water, dress, and go out. And this silence of the night is still there. And the cows, you feel them. You come to the cow shed, and 80 of them there are lying close to each other, and they warm themselves like 80 goddesses, 80 Heras, a mother. The cow is the mother goddess. And you feel this enormous warm field of kind of sisterly love and of nature, peace and fertility, the goddess of fertility is there, and you feel it all emanating from the cowshed, and it's open. And what can you do? You can become a kind of everyday farmer who just kicks the light on and starts his everyday routine. And the cows, well, they have to wake up and they are hungry and then maybe be milked, and if they don't want to wake up, the farmer will come with a stick and hit them so that they must go, because the day is becoming, factional, real, and the dream is gone. But I didn't do that. I realized that they like music. I played flute, which I play flute all the time. Anywhere I am, I take a flute with me. Now I must buy a new one. I have lost already like 7 flutes now. So I played them during the day, and I said, look at this. They immediately stopped mumbling, and they came to me and looked me without a word, which is not surprising with cows, but their eyes were so loving and so interested and so like on the verge, on the brink of an enlightenment, because this is what for cows would be if they would, enhance the field of, enlarge the field of their soul and fly and absorb the music and become musical cows. This, just a side note, that enlightenment, a concept in human culture which has been so much used, is probably not the right word, because light is the metaphor for consciousness. We prefer to call it deepening of the soul field. Stretching and deepening and expanding of the soul field so that it can merge with surroundings without the interference of the sharp, steely, cold, narrow beam of intentional consciousness, of light in the sense of a laser light. It would be a kind of warm light of a sun that is rising above the lake, or setting sun above the forest, which colors all the trees into vivid orange and red, that would spread through the whole morphogenetic field of your soul, and you will feel one with the lake, with the waves, or with the trees of the forest. So this would be for us enlightenment, not the sharp realization of some cognitive sentence like I am one with God or whatever. Forget it. And the cows emanated this love, and being drawn, they were basically drawn to the vibration of the air that was, emanating from the flute, and came and stopped mumbling. So I said, okay, this is good. Cows like my flute playing. So in the morning, in the dark, in the cold January air, I come to the cottage and play, and I hear only the shuffling of the hooves and silence. They stop mumbling. Some of them are already up and eat and feed. So I do nothing. I just play and walk around and enjoy the stars and the closeness of the forest and the archetypal situation of a farmer and a home, no, feeling, and so on. Okay, that it takes for 5 minutes, and then the farmer is coming already because he also wake up, no, and he turns the light on, or I'll turn the light on, and see, behold, all the cows are standing, and they are getting ready to groups to go, to be milked, and I can easily clean the cow shed because they like it that they are being treated like, an audience, like friends, participate in the mystery of the morning. And then they are brown also, no? The brown phenom. That is always positive. No? If you are brown, you have plus point with me. And if you have a fur, and if you move, and if you have hot blood, and your skin is soft, and there is deep pulsation inside your body, then you are my friend. No? Like when I was working in medical field, in a cancer clinic in the mountains, like a physiotherapist, as a physiotherapist, I was so full of this, worry and sorry and frustration and despair among those patients, because they had all cancer. And some of them were treated already chemically and radiation and so. So my task was to, make them to live again and to enjoy life. And so we did all kinds of physiotherapeutic exercises and games and walks in the forest and meditation and relaxation and all kind of therapy. And after that, I would sit on my bicycle and bicycle to the farm, and the farmer knew this was another farm. I was living on several farms. I always live on the farms if possible. And he knew I'm going to do the evening chores. This is with passion. And so I came from the hospital to the cow shed now. And I work on those. This was a smaller farmer. He had only like 12 cows, but it was a beautiful all it was Christmas time also. It was like in Bethlehem. They really had this wooden cow shed, and you were taking care of them like private patients now. You would always put fresh hay and remove immediately the dung and put the dung with the shovel into a wheelbarrow and drive it to the door. And the door was like opening to the landscape. It was on a hill. So you come to a small platform and you see on the other side of the valley mountains, high mountains rising, and there is snow and there are rocks, and every time you come with a full wheelbarrow, you are like, initiated into the mystery of mountain farming, the shapes of the mountains, the smell of the dung and of hay. And if you put fresh hay, You know it as a farmer that there are various qualities of the grass when it is dry. And so smells so perfect now. And if you already know, I mean, remember that you have been lying on this fresh hay in August, somewhere nearby, in a small cottage where the hay is stored, and the fresh summer air is flowing through the ribs of this cottage, the wooden ribs of the cottage, and the mountain brooms are dancing nearby with this white foam and blue and white waves and stones and jumping. You are lying there with your girlfriend, and she smells nice, like fresh, and you stay there whole night, and the stars are coming. Whoa. So these are, I give you these images to understand the lifestyle of a biocentric phenomenologist, who naturally must not know in his young days that he is a kind of initiated to the biocentric phenomenology. Simply he considers this to be normal. I lived for 50 years in this ecstasy of forms and shapes and adventure and sport and brown dogs and horses and bulls, and girls were not brown, but they were suntanned because they always live outside, and I take them for those adventures to the mountains, or they take me, and this was, for me, this is it now, this is life. I didn't consider anything else. And then the university made me to think about, look for friends who live in the same way, which naturally were romantic poets, in the English tradition, like Wordsworth, wow, crazy, or Oscar Wilde, and what was his name? Songs of Innocence, Songs of Experience, I don't remember. Zen poets, haiku, basho, romantic poets, sort of. I was studying them, I'm discovering a new friend, and I want to talk about Heinrich Heine.